Yeah, hey Bobby, how's it going? This is Michael again from BetterTOEFLScores.com, home of the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL test. So let's take a look. Looks like you're doing a writing practice test at one of the password protected pages of your lessons. So let's take a look at it. So your question is, if you could change one important thing about your country, what would you change? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. So let's take a look at paragraph 1. One of the developing countries is India, where the people are getting higher degrees and working hard. However, politicians in India are the worst. If I could change one important thing, I would change politicians to save lots of money from corruption. Change politicians are one of the ways to get job and medical treatments for all. So I would say here changing. Use a gerund there as your subject to kind of begin that second sentence there. Now, you say change politicians. Change what about them? Do you mean you want to end their term? Do you want to fire them? Do you want to change their attitudes? Do you want to create some kind of a law that regulates how many terms they can serve? It's not really clear what it is you want to do with these politicians. Maybe you mean replace them? Is that the word you're looking for? Okay. And it looks like your thesis talks about two benefits. So if you change politicians, you can create more jobs and have better medical treatment. At least that's your argument, right? Okay, let's see what it says here. First, politicians are doing money scandal, which belongs to the public. Politicians are using their powers to make money. Moreover, they might think that politics is a business, not the service. For example, one politician did the Spectrum scandal lately, which was a hot topic in all medias. In fact, he betrayed the government for more than 1,000 million. And I think there you mean 1 billion, right? Besides, he was a central minister of telecommunication. All politicians are corrupted and betrayed public and their money. In order to protect people's money, I would like to change all the politicians. I'm getting more your meaning here, so I think you're saying you want to end their terms. You want to replace them and put new people in power. Your next paragraph, second, politicians are interfering in the job market is another main reason. You want to say after market, which is another main reason to change them. Although most, I wouldn't say most of people, just say although most people in India are well educated, after the comma put they are unemployed. Again, although most people in India are well educated, they are unemployed. At the same time, people who have recommendation from the ministers get a job without any struggles. Politicians, I would use here, do not care, not are. Excuse me. So politicians do not care about the country and its unemployment. Furthermore, politicians hire people who are their relatives and friends. Besides, ministers and other legislative members are expecting money for job placements. I would like to get rid of this kind of politician in order to get jobs for all. Finally, politicians are the barrier for poor people getting medical treatments. Lots of people are dying due to the lack of treatments. Politicians are not releasing enough funds for healthcare services. They are releasing money for entertainment instead, which makes people to become sick. For instance, one of the central ministers sanctioned huge amounts, I would use here amounts of money with an S, for entertainment, no S, entertainment such as movies and clubs. If they sanction more money for health care, it would help to save people who could not afford the medical expenses. Hey, that's good grammar. You're using hypotheticals, talking about an impossible present condition. Let me read that again. If they sanction, so you're using a past tense verb to talk about a present impossible reality. That's pretty good. Again, if they sanction more money, it would help to save poor people who could not afford their medical expenses. I would like to change these politicians and look forward to having real, noble, and dedicated ones. In short, politicians are the main problem in India, where the people are not getting their basic needs. Politicians need to be changed in order to protect people's money, jobs, and medical facilities. I believe this would bring fruitful future to India. Good job, Bobby. Now let's take a look at how this essay will score. So let's talk about some positives and some negatives of the essay, and then I'll give you what I think it'll score on the TOEFL iBT. So the positive aspects of your writing right now is you have a pretty good thesis. You have good, strong body paragraphs, basically restating the key points that you mentioned in the beginning. You have good detail information to support your generalizations. You use a really good variety of transition words to connect ideas. You use words like, for example, in fact, second, at the same time, furthermore, besides, finally. These are all good words, even for instance. So your knowledge of transition words and how to connect ideas, it gives your writing a very, very connected or coherent tone to it. And that's all good. Now the $64,000 question is you talk about changing politicians, and I think you talk about why you want to change them. Now another interesting question is, how do you plan on doing this? Because part of, I think, a good argument is you do propose a solution and you explain how you want to accomplish this solution. And the solution needs to be feasible, which means it's possible that you can do this. So you did talk about why, but you didn't talk about how. Now, I'm not sure that the TOEFL would score you low for that, because let's face it, you only have 30 minutes to answer this question, and you have written probably over 400 words, and there's probably no way for you to discuss why you want to change politicians and then also how you want to do it. So if it were a longer paper, I think this type of argument, you would be expected to explain how you plan to accomplish this. And by the way, I agree with you 100% on this topic here. We have a lot of politicians here in the United States that I would love to get rid of them and put somebody new in. And maybe they can do better than the person who's in charge now. But, you know, I have really no power to do that other than voting. But anyway, okay, let's talk about your score. I think your score here is going to be pretty high. I don't think you'll get a perfect score, but I think you're probably right around 4.5, I think, out of 5 on the TOEFL iBT. So definitely this is a very, very strongly written essay, and you're very likely to, I think you'll get more than 24, 25 points on this particular writing sample. Alrighty?